some day-to-day bullshit.
Bullshit!
And raw, a raw and real podcast where we tackle life's challenges with real stories, advice, and expert insights. Welcome!
Who are you?
I am Dawn C.
I am C.
I'm Coach Adam.
Coach
Adam.
And Coach Adam. Oh, wait, but I'm Coach Dawn then, damn it.
I know, really. Two coaches, I don't know. What are we going to do?
Non-coach.
And a non-coach.
And today, our topic is failed leadership in today's bullshit workplace.
Wow.
I got a lot to say, but I'll be quiet for a little while.
I have some things for that, too. I got a bunch of stuff I could say about that.
This is a particularly sensitive issue for Dawn right now.
Yes, it is.
Oh, yeah, it's a hot one.
Yeah, it's hot for me.
Coming in hot.
Coming in real hot.
Burning.
Hopefully some of our guests are coming in hot, too.
Yes, they're going to be screaming.
They'll be screaming.
Because I said to myself, you know what? When I come back from Kenya, ooh, it's going to explode.
It's going to explode.
They're going to be crying, all right.
That's not the explosion sound effect.
They're going to be screaming.
Oh,
I can't wait. I can't wait to hear from these experts and people just letting us know what's going on, with this leadership shit.
Yep.
Yeah, leadership.
Hey, Adam coined a phrase.
He did.
It's
He did.
Leader shit.
Yes, he did.
Leader shit. Failed leadership is leader shit.
Boom.
Yeah. So, should we get started with some of our guests?
Yes, we should.
All right.
Do it.
Well, we got Greg Warger here today. He's a father, husband, entrepreneur, and manager who's climbed the ranks and wants to tell his story about failed leadership in his workplace or past workplaces.
Oh, okay.
Excellent.
So, let's go live with Greg.
How you doing, guys?
Hey,
Greg.
Greg, how are you?
I'm great.
So you want to tell us a little bit about your plights with some leadership?
Well, interesting enough, I went to school as a film major, so really understanding the ranks of leadership really started there and understanding chain of command. I think, everybody says too many chefs in the kitchen. You need to have some sous chefs to go along with that. So that's the one thing that kind of resonated with me to kind of go through being a leader. But some of the issues that I'm seeing being a manager that I'm at is, the training and the being on the same wavelength as the rest of your team. When you're not on the same wavelength, you have this selfish attitude. And I think everybody needs to understand that you're all working together. And segueing to a book that I've read called Extreme Ownership by Jocko Willink. I don't know if anybody's read that one.
I've not.
It talks about how the military and business is basically the same thing. Going back to that chain of command and owning what's going on in your workplace.
Interesting. What does that look like? Could you give us an example of what owning?
Yeah, ownership. What is that in your workplace?
So basically, the issue that I feel like a lot of people have is taking accountability. And as a leader, you need to own everything that you do. So if you have someone underneath you and they mess up, it's on the manager. Now, granted, it's still on the person that messed up, but then you have to look at what happened with that. Was it poor training? Was it we don't have any standard operating procedures, as we like to call SOPs? Is it because you're not spending more time with that person? So if people are not going to really, take the time out, and when someone messes up, you own up to it. And that's what the military's like. You have your, I'm going to butcher the level of staffing, but you have your highest rank and they're planning the mission. They put that mission to the sergeant, then the sergeant goes to the platoon, and then the soldiers go out and execute. And if they don't plan correctly, someone, it's life or death. Now, granted, obviously the workplace is not life or death, but it's, you got to go into work, if you are passionate and you really want to succeed, you're going to want to you're going to fight for it. You're going to really go after it. And that's what I've started taking on is accountability.
Good one.
Even this past week, one of my employees messed up and I'm sitting there like, what did I do wrong?
That hurts.
Which is a great impulse versus who do I blame?
Oh, yeah.
Or how do I chastise this person?
Yeah, but it happens. You know,
I mean, it happened to me too. Like, just a quick example. I had a boss. He asked me we were doing an award ceremony, and we had to name all the kids that were getting grants, along with what school they went to. I made the whole thing up, gave it to my boss. He took it, and then he said, thank you. And then I went back and I said, oh, I need that paperwork back because he wants it in a bigger font. He's like, oh, this, and it was in the trash. I'm like, oh, great. He's like, don't worry, I have it. And then that night at the award ceremony, all the names were not correct with the schools, and so it got all screwed up. But he blamed me for it, of course. You know, and I was like, "You took that and redid it," and what? So, but I did take the fall for that, even though I had not done it. So
let me ask you something. The employee that made the mistake, how did they feel? How did they approach you?
I actually approached them because I caught him. So that's
okay.
And, you know, that's the other thing you have to look at is, all right, how do you approach this? And I hate, you know, being a father, it's like how I tell my kids. I'm not going to be mad at you the first time you make a mistake. I'm going to have a conversation with you. I'm going to educate you. I'm going to try to have that one-on-one, you know, figure this out. The second time, all right, I'm going to be, you know, what's up? What's going on? What are you missing? Ask the questions. After like the fifth, sixth time, like my son always leaving his sweatshirt on the bus, you know, like
I've been there.
What?
Yep, been there
what
many
are we
times.
doing here? Like, and I usually cry more than scream, but
I think we've got a crying sound effect.
you know,
No,
Adam.
that's close.
Adam.
We're just getting to know the sound effects.
Yes.
that's fine. I'll boom after a while too. But it's more of like, you know, all right, and then you got to deal with personalities, right?
Big.
You have to understand if that person can take criticism.
That is a great point, and if I can just jump in, because I feel like that's something that's so critical, this understanding that, you know, if I'm dealing with somebody who's a particular personality type, like I don't know if you're familiar with this social styles model, but it basically says, you know, there are essentially like 4 different main types of people in terms of how they interact with others. I won't go into the details, but drivers are people who, just like it says, are very results oriented and they're not touchy-feely. And when a driver says, you got to do this, like, I need you to do this, somebody who's a little bit more emotional, a little bit more expressive is going to be like, why am I being attacked?
Yeah.
Well, who the F do you think you are?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that too. That's really what happens.
But if you know, oh, this person, they're just a driver, that's just how they communicate, you can kind of bypass a lot of that emotional shit.
Difficult. Boom! Difficult.
Oh.
Yeah. But that's such a good point, and it's something that people forget about, and then you can just waste so much time and energy feeling like, why did they talk to me that way? What did they mean by that?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you know, it also, you know, coming back to experience to my old job to the job that I have now. You know, I loved my old job. Yeah, we were working with cigars. It was awesome. I was going down to Dominican Republic,
oh, that's
Nicaragua,
nice.
things like
Yeah.
that. And right before COVID, I was in Honduras, and you know, the one reason why I left that job is just because of the leadership and how people treat you. It's just you can't. They see the potential in you, but it's just like, well, what are we doing here? And I always believed, as an employee, I do this like 3-year plan. It's the first year of training, second year, how do you perfect it, and third year, you figure out if you're going to leave or not.
I like that.
Did that work for you for the cigar company?
Yeah, and yeah, that was year 3, and the reason why I'm at my job now too is, my buddy owns the company. I've known him since I was 15 years old. And the other aspect of why he brought me on is making sure, like I was saying before, all your employees are on the same page. And if all your employees are on the same page, they care about what you're doing and you care about each other, you're
They got
going
the vision.
to succeed.
Yeah,
Show
they're
them
all,
the
the
vision.
culture is
Sounds like-
good.
yes, the culture is
The culture is thriving because everybody's
Okay.
on board and on the same
Absolutely.
thing. And they're all trained.
Absolutely.
I mean, it makes sense.
yes.
How does trust factor in there?
Well, I came in more for the money, to handle the money situation, not my money, his money. So that's where, and he also knew my work ethic. I mean, the business I'm in right now is logistics. I came from film. And I always believe anybody can do a job as long as you have the mentality to want to learn, understand how to take criticism, how to, drive yourself. If you don't have those factors, you're not going to succeed. It might take someone longer to learn the job, but when you want someone that wants to succeed, want to learn, want to drive and do all those things, then just, some guy who knows how to do it. And we did that. We hired someone that we knew and or not knew, but like had the potential, the experience, I should say. Sorry. And it didn't work out because it wasn't working out with the culture. And that's then now it's hard because we're trying to find, new people and everything else. And it's just hard to find that fit.
Yeah.
It's challenging
And
because
culture.
it's like anytime you're dealing with a human system, you can say on paper, oh, this person has the skills, this should be a great fit. But, we're humans.
Yeah. So I think that's all the time
At
we
least I'm a human.
No, you're an
I thought
android.
Dawn was abducted today, so I don't know. But I'm going to say that was great, Greg.
Excellent.
We
Excellent,
learned a
Greg.
lot.
That 3-year plan
My
is key,
takeaway from
baby.
that is how to be a good leader: train, watch, direct, encourage, renovate, celebrate, and congratulations, you have a new team with good culture.
Yes, he does.
Yes.
He does.
But thanks so much for joining us today.
Thanks, Greg. Thank you for that 3-year plan, even though I'm not
Yeah.
using it no more.
If I could
use
just
it for the
chime
show.
in. If I could
She
just
needed it
chime
3
in
years
here,
ago.
Greg, I just wanted to mention, when I hear you talking about, motivation and wanting to do better and really, wanting to work hard, I'm thinking, oh, what a loss for that cigar company, if they had just sort of been open to what you could have brought to the table. Think about how many situations there are where
Right.
some really good, valuable talent is just squandered. because
And
of
wasted. Oh, God, I know.
bullshit.
Yep,
work
of all the bullshit. We just
And sometimes it's just not where you're supposed to be at that time.
It is.
He's where he's at right now. His
Oh,
friend needed him.
yeah. He is where he's at.
Okay.
All I wanted to do was do one documentary about a cigar from start to finish. That's
Oh,
all I
God.
wanted to do. One big project. And I budgeted it all out. I pushed it every year, and I always got turned down. So
Oh,
it's just
God.
like one of
Let me
those
tell you
things
something.
where
I would
that's
watch
the
that.
other problem.
I would
on top
definitely
of the
watch
whole-
that.
I would have watched that too. I love cigars.
Me too.
You're where you're at right now, Greg.
Yeah,
Oh,
good for
enjoy
you.
it.
Babes.
Anyway, so
Thank
thanks
you.
again. I think we are moving on with.
Well, if I could.
Go ahead. Oh, Adam, go ahead.
Well, no, this is important, okay? Before we move on,
Yes,
I have a quote that I really love from
Please,
Dr. Martin Luther King.
Oh, good.
Go
Let's
right
hear
ahead,
it.
Adam.
And it is, a genuine leader is not a searcher for consensus, but a molder of consensus. And I love that
Wow.
subtle,
We don't have a mic.
yet powerful distinction.
That's a mic drop moment, Adam.
Wow.
Wow.
Hey, Paul, we got to get a mic drop sound.
Yes, we do.
With some feedback.
Yeah, like, yeah. Anyway, all right. So we are lined up to speak with Dr. Braun,
Dr. Anna Braun.
Dr. Anna Braun.
Dr. Anna Braun.
Yes. Anna is a retired teacher, having worked in East Brunswick public schools for 34 years.
New Jersey.
She has lived in East Brunswick for her entire life and is a member of the EBHS class of 1981. Also about Dr. Braun, she has extensive experience with a wide variety of management styles, having worked in 3 school districts in 19 schools.
If I could interject, see, I also heard that she worked under 8 school superintendents. 28 principals, and 8 music supervisors.
That is
That's
correct.
A lot of people. She's running for a seat on the East Brunswick Board of Education in November. That's cool.
Yeah.
And hopes to tap into the lessons she learned working under both good and failed leadership. Dr. Braun wants to draw on those experiences to be a positive advocate for teachers, staff, and students.
All right.
That's awesome.
Okay.
Yeah, that is great. So, let's hear from Dr. Braun and what sort of things she's experienced.
Well, when I first found your podcast, love the title.
Excellent.
Thank you.
And then I saw that you were doing something on failed leadership. And I'm like, oh man, I am beyond an expert
Oh,
with the number of people that, I mean, come on, I worked with a lot of different kind of leaders. So I did want to say, I have had some fantastic leaders. And I mean, these are people I would have done anything for them.
Mm.
And then you have others where, somebody mentioned squandered talent.
Yes.
Yeah. It doesn't cost a penny to ask teachers an opinion. We love to give our opinions. So when there
That
are
is
major
such a
decisions
good pull
being
quote,
made,
if I can
it's
just say,
important
that's such a great quote.
to
Does not
talk
cost
it
a penny.
over with your staff. Because where I retired from, you're talking, close to 1,000 educators, and just the collective intelligence and expertise that's available for leaders when they're making decisions. If you're not using it, that's foolish because it doesn't cost a penny to ask us our opinion.
Such a good point. And it's like a gold mine there in front of you, right?
Right
if
there.
you could be selective and open and curious as opposed to just not thinking and, like you said, not asking the question.
Right.
Yep.
I think it'd be a lot of fun if we also got Dr. Lou Figueroa and Dr. Lou to join, so Anna and Lou, Dr. Lou and Anna can
Join
speak.
the party.
Okay. Yeah, join the party since they are.
Thank you. I'm in the waiting room. Now I'm excited. I have my dance shoes on.
Well, listen.
Dr. Lou, tell us about
Tell
Dr.
us
Lou.
about Dr. Lou. Dr. Lou Figueroa has spent 40 years as a career educator, starting out as a substitute teacher and basketball football coach at Piscataway High School in the early 80s. Wow. By 1988, Lou was appointed as a special education teacher and head basketball coach at Edison High School.
Awesome.
While in Edison, Lou taught at every level and was also an administrator at the elementary, middle school, and high school level. Lou spent the past 13 years as an assistant superintendent of student activities and student services in the East Brunswick School District, where he resides with his wife, Jen, a career elementary teacher, and his 2 children that both attend East Brunswick High Schools. So, Dr. Lou, are you with us?
I am with you. Good morning.
Hi, Dr. Lou.
Welcome.
Good morning.
Welcome. We'd love to hear from both you and Dr. Braun or Dr. Anna. But go ahead and tell us a little about your...
First off, if I may, just say thank you for having us today. My voice is a little hoarse. I apologize. We've been doing a lot of speaking. We're both part of a group of 4 that are running for the East Brunswick Board of Education.
Oh,
Oh,
wow.
good for you.
Oh, wow.
That's great.
Yes.
May I ask, how's that going? Is that...
How is that going?
Well, I'll tell you, we have a fantastic slate headed, of course, by Dr. Braun, and she's a tremendous advocate for students and for doing the right thing. And she's got a phenomenal reputation, a hard worker, and we're just happy to be part of that group. Myself, Jen Figueroa, who happens to be my wife, is also running, and Dr. Jamie Falco. We're also, the 4 of us are running as a slate for this November on the Board of Education. And I guess I would say the reason is part of the topic that we're talking about today, and the failed leadership. I really can understand it from Dr. Braun's point of view as a teacher, being a teacher for many years, and then getting into the administration level. When I see other administrators, even the top administrator, or the one who is responsible for running the district, not take the collaboration from those around them, even at that level. And that's one of the problems that both Anna and I have seen in East Brunswick in the most recent years. And that is a real issue because now at my level, I could be considered part of the problem as an assistant superintendent if the
Mm.
superintendent is making decisions that aren't good for the district.
Right.
So now that does also affect me and those that I deal with regularly that I'm trying to be fair and equitable to. And so it presents additional
Social
problems that
problems,
way.
yeah.
And,
Yes.
So do you think this strong team, Dr. Anna and Dr. Lou, are you going to be able to show your leadership skills so that others will be able to see what it is to be a leader and to potentially follow you?
Anna, you want to answer?
I mean, kind of funny thinking of a leader. I was an orchestra director.
Oh,
And
wow.
so I used to have, 180 kids following me,
Hmm.
junior high school kids following me in an orchestra concert. So, yeah, I do know something about leadership.
Okay.
And I loved my students, and I think they knew that, and they responded, and they performed their hearts out. So I think it all goes back, it's all the same. And I do just have to make one other comment.
Yes.
Please.
I loved when the quote that you mentioned, a molder of consensus.
Yes.
I personally have experienced moldy consensus.
Moldy.
Which,
That,
you mentioned
we
that
don't want
moldy
moldy. We
consensus.
don't want moldy consensus. Molding.
yeah, not
yes.
as good. Definitely not as
So,
good.
John, can we quote you on that?
Yes.
Can we
Now,
Yes,
quote
we
you on
have
please
that?
do.
Stale ass consensus. Yeah.
now Adam and Dr. Anna have coined a phrase today.
Yes.
Beautiful. I
Oh,
love it.
moldy consensus. That's a really good one. And so I'm curious to both of you, you talk about this sort of dilemma. What's something, what's one or two things off the top of your heads that can be done to make things better?
Well, if I may, I'll just start, and I'm sure we both have some good ideas about this. I think the first thing is we have to remember in education, especially when Greg was on, he was talking about business. He was talking about, either making a product or, him being a product and helping other people in their business. When we're talking about children,
Mm.
they're not widgets. So anybody who knows dealing with children, there has to be that personal touch. If I asked everybody that's listening today, who was your favorite teacher? I guarantee you that you wouldn't say it was just the smartest teacher you ever had.
Mm-hmm.
It would be the
Right.
person that you connected with the most.
Yes.
Yes.
Probably someone that gave you encouragement.
And I
someone
bet
that
they
you felt
probably
loved.
remember their whole name too. I know I do.
Me
Right.
too.
Hey,
Yes,
I remember the
and
teacher.
and I will tell you this, and I know Dr. Braun, Anna would never do this, but I will tell you, she is very humble. She wasn't just the teacher who led 180 kids in a classroom. She molded them, and I mean that in every sense
That's
of the
a
way.
blessing.
She
Yeah.
changed lives as a teacher, and she was lauded for that. People loved her for that. She was, a leader amongst her teacher friends and amongst those people, her colleagues and all those in administration said, what a wonderful teacher. What a great job she does. That's a special person, that leadership and that person that you want to follow, that you want to lead. And I learned something from the superintendent that I began working for when I first got to East Brunswick.
Mhm.
And she always said, take care of your people. Don't forget the people.
Right.
Take care of them.
Perfect. That's
And
perfect.
I've never forgotten that. And I think that has proven to be a great way to be a leader.
That's
to really
beautiful.
make sure the people underneath you know that I would never ask them to do anything that I wouldn't do first.
do.
Yeah.
Amen to that. It's funny. I just want to comment. I won't say where I'm at, but because of how I am with, my staff, and they all know that, Dawn will go to the end of the earth for us. And that is what they don't like. That all of the employees come to me. They don't like it.
Mhm.
I mean, the company doesn't like it.
Upper management.
Upper management doesn't like it.
I'm like the outcast,
Because they're going to you for
Yes.
their
Yes,
needs
because
and
I can't-
advice. And,
Absolutely. No matter what it is, I listen. One girl, my dog, Dawn, I don't know. Should I put him down? I said, don't ask me that now, but I feel for you.
But it sounds like they don't like the fact that you're making them look bad.
yes.
By comparison.
Right.
And how sad is that as
Yes.
opposed to like, wow, we should
Wow,
all
good.
strive.
Yes.
to
They
be
should
good.
actually
Right.
take a note from your
From your skin. Yeah.
Because, like, why is this working for all the workers, and why are we not working?
Exactly.
I mean,
Why are they
Right.
not coming to
I
me?
think,
yeah, they
yeah,
should be
Dawn,
asking you
that's
for advice.
exactly
Yes,
right.
Dr. Lou.
I mean, I would say, Dawn, that, when you say that, that tells me right away so much about your character and who you are. The
Yeah.
fact that people see you as someone that they want to go to and say, hey, I have a problem.
Mm-hmm.
Moment of weakness, who do I go to? I go to Dawn.
Yeah.
I mean, that says so much about you.
Yeah,
So yeah,
appreciate
I
that.
think
Sure does.
in positive management, you'd have people saying, hey, everybody, look what Dawn's doing. That's the kind of person we want in our management team because we
Yes.
want people to
Totally.
want to follow.
Right,
In
right.
poor
Don't beat her up.
management styles, you're a threat.
Yeah.
In poor management styles, you become a threat.
Yeah.
Uh-oh, Dawn's getting too powerful. Why are they going to Dawn? Don't go to Dawn, go to someone else.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Sad.
understood.
It is sad.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Dr. Lou, it reminds me of something you said, one word in particular, which is caring. And that's so important.
Yeah.
People oftentimes don't think about that in terms of leadership because for whatever reason, we tend to gravitate towards these more aggressive sort of like leader, force, get
Totally.
people to do things, control. But
They think it's
caring,
motivation, but it's not.
not.
you don't have
Control.
trust and feel like, you're
Yeah.
cared about,
Totally.
forget it.
Yeah.
No care,
Yeah.
nothing.
You're not going to work. As they say, you're
Yeah, when you're
quietly quitting.
When you're talking about a leader being a force, my friends call me Hurricane Anna
Ooh.
because
Dr. Hurricane Anna.
Hurricane Anna, yeah, I've been called a lot of things, but I can't say those on.
All good, all good.
No, not all good, because I advocate for my kids, for my students. And if I see something that's detrimental to them, I'm going to fight you over it.
Yes.
And let me give you an example, another example of moldy consensus.
All
I
right.
had
do.
a fantastic music supervisor. This man was a real human being. You could talk to him about anything. You had any kind of problem, you could go to this man and he listened because you knew he cared. And he would have moved heaven and earth for us. And the feeling was mutual. Well, one day he gets a call from one of the muckety mucks. Now, when I say high muckety muck, I'm actually going higher than Lou was. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, Lou is only a moderate muckety muck, right? So we're going to the top. And he got reprimanded because when we would have concerts and we would be setting up a couple hundred chairs and music stands, this supervisor would help us. And he was reprimanded because he was told, oh, supervisors shouldn't be doing that. That makes us look
crazy.
bad.
What? They can't lend a hand?
Okay, I do not even understand that mindset. Isn't it
either.
just boggling to the
And-
mind? Like, we have to maintain this hierarchy.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Definitely.
And then, so this man said, you know what? These are my teachers. I'm not
for
going to
him.
stand by with my hands in my pockets while they're doing something that I can help
Good
them
for
with
him.
and
Oh,
I can help
yes.
lift
Yes.
the burden.
Yes.
Now, fortunately for this fantastic educator, he has moved on to much bigger and much better things. And I'm truly jealous of the teachers who get to work with him now because he was amazing.
Wow.
And yet the toxic work environment that the teachers in East Brunswick were experienced are and continue to experience. This is
Wow.
exactly the kind of failed leadership.
Wow.
Yeah.
What a
That-
loss, too. I mean,
It's just wrong.
yeah, that's horrible.
That is a big
That
loss.
But thank God they're going to get Hurricane and
That's right.
Yes.
Dr.
we need a
Hurricane.
hurricane.
Dr.
Hurricane.
Lou Figueroa. I'm thinking about the Hulk.
Yep. Talking about the Hulk. So,
Understood.
Dawn's drinking my espresso.
and I don't drink coffee. You do now. So what we've learned is that toxic cultures absolutely help no one in the education sector or in
Yep.
many corporations or anywhere in the world, really, right? So
That's right.
Have you all read the book Good to Great? Anybody?
Not
Do we
good
have a
to great.
tumbleweed sound effect? Some wind? Yeah, good to great. It's a very good book all about leadership. But essentially, in a nutshell, what they did was they looked at, okay, over this period of I think a decade, looking at companies, really large companies that not only succeeded but exceeded everybody's expectations of where they would be. Okay, and then they looked at the leaders and they said, what's the overlap in the Venn diagram? And here's the thing that's really interesting, Dr. Anna, coming back to something that you mentioned, or actually, I think it was something that Dr. Lou said about you, which is that he mentioned your humility. And this one linear through line between all these leaders is they weren't the large personalities who were like, oh, look at me. They were people who loved what they did and were passionate about it, but really didn't want or like the spotlight. And I thought that was so interesting because we oftentimes have this idea that like a strong leader should be somebody who's sort of like an alpha personality and is going to like, crave attention in the spotlight. And actually what they saw is the ones who were truly successful, it was just the opposite.
Yeah,
Exactly.
I think that the other type is too rigid. And so that just cracks,
Yeah,
It's
that's a good
actually
point,
kind
C.
of funny that
Rigidity.
you mentioned the word spotlight because, of course, I spent my career on a stage, and I craved the spotlight. The reason I craved the spotlight is because it shined on my students.
Oh,
And
that's good.
they
Beautiful.
were
Yeah.
the focus,
That is
not
so
me.
lucky. Your
And
students
I
are so lucky.
do anything I could
them.
to
Okay.
promote my orchestra.
Yes.
And to just showcase them. But I never wanted the attention. And honestly, if you think about an orchestra conductor, people only ever saw my back.
That's it.
Because I
That's it.
See in the
turn
back,
around
Yeah,
and conducting
right.
the
back of your
orchestra.
body. Yes,
That's it.
exactly.
That's beautiful. I must
Which
remember
always
that.
made me feel good that here I'm facing those kids. And I was always so proud of what
That's
they
beautiful.
And I'm sure they were happy to have that help, especially you facing them.
They're blessed.
Yeah,
That is
blessed.
beautiful.
And I think this East Brunswick, even though I'm in Old Bridge, I know that you guys are going to take this to another level.
I think they
And
will.
the students and even the parents need someone like you in that capacity
Right.
that can speak for their children. Because a lot of times they don't listen to the parents. But being at the level, this is going to shift East Brunswick. Okay, East
It would be good. It would be a great shift if we.
Thank
yes,
you. We hope so.
we hope so too.
Oh, it's already done.
It's already done.
I'm a visionary
Thank you
lady.
so
It is
much.
already done, honey.
Thank you.
So great. Well, I'd like to thank both of you, Dr. Anna and Dr. Lou, for joining us today.
Yes, thank you both so much for talking and
Thank you.
sharing. And yeah,
You'll have to get back to us with your results after the
Absolutely.
November election.
Yes, definitely. Hopefully, we'll have good results for you in November. And thank you, C. Thank you, Dawn. Thank you, Adam.
Thank you.
and
Thank
Paul,
you
everyone
both.
there.
Oh my God.
Studio. Thank you so much for
This is
having us
beautiful.
on.
so welcome. It was
Yeah.
a pleasure.
It was a pleasure.
Yeah, this was fun. This was so much fun.
Oh, you
And,
must come back.
Because I like the spotlight so much. Any other topics you want some snarky remarks for? I'm your woman.
You'll have to check the comments
Okay,
after
I
we
love it.
after we drop this episode. Let's see what the
Yes.
East Brunswick.
yes.
And
Yeah,
maybe
Brunswick's
the
gonna say.
graphic for this episode will just be a picture of the back of Anna's head.
Yes.
Yeah. Honest to God, I would have
what do you
my
call those
family
things?
say, I would turn around, put my arms up, and I'd be like, how do I look from the back?
That's great.
That is unusual for sure.
Oh my God. So
I love
enjoy the
it.
rest of your day, doctors.
Yeah, enjoy the rest of your
Thank
day
you so
and
much.
keep
Thank
us
you.
posted.
Have a great weekend. Thank
You
you.
too.
again.
You as well.
Bless.
Thank you.
Thanks.
I know.
Yeah.
I
I
hit the
thought
right
that was
button.
fabulous. Yes, you did. You're getting better.
Legitimately inspirational.
Yes, it was inspirational.
It
Hope,
was 100%. And I hope others got the message.
yes. Hopefully they did get the message.
And not perspirational because it is cold in here.
Didn't you know you were supposed to bring a parka?
You'll see. I'm going to change clothes.
Sleepy hot. So the air's up high.
Oh.
Me and Adam gonna be like this later.
Hey, if we see some icicles coming off you, I'm putting a snowy background behind you.
Paul, can we get some snow up on here?
Yeah.
If I can just share, when I was in first
ahead.
grade, I had the biggest crush on my first grade teacher.
Okay, so did Paul.
Okay.
If y'all don't know who
talks about
Paul
his
is,
first grade teacher.
everything.
Okay, and every year at Christmas, one of the ornaments that I still hang on the tree is an ornament that she gave me. We had her over for dinner when I was in first grade.
Oh, wow.
So I was like shitting my pants. And, you know, we're all talking and getting along. And at one point, I'm talking. I can't remember, whatever. I was like 6 years old. But I do remember this. Mid-sentence, so I'm telling a story. So my mom and dad, and most importantly, Miss Prentice, are looking directly at me. I hope that she's listening to this.
Hey, she might. You never know.
And mid-sentence, I farted.
Oh, no.
Oh,
At
get
the table?
sound bites.
Yeah, we don't have a fart sound effect, but...
Well, wait a minute. Were you at the table?
So we're sitting at the table, I farted, and then I was so mortified that I tried to, like, move
What came out?
so that she would think, oh, no. Dawn's going to a dark place. And no, I just thought, oh, if I move, she'll think that, like, the wooden chair was creaking.
Made a creak noise.
Let's call attention to the fact that I farted.
Yeah.
I love that story.
What is it with the first grade and these boys having their crushes on their teachers? I mean, happens all the time.
Yes, it does. So guess what? This
So-
was our very first episode.
It was. Congratulations.
Yes. And I'm so glad that we ended on farting in front of your first grade.
Yes, we did.
You know?
Yes, we did.
That's an important...
That
You
is
gotta be yourself. You gotta be yourself, no matter what.
Yeah.
certainly do. So thanks to Greg Warger,
Yes.
Dr. Anna, and Dr. Lou for joining us today. It was really fun.
Yeah,
we learned a lot.
Thank you. Is that
And-
the pause one?
Yeah, absolutely, definitely. And what's up for the next?
I'm glad you asked. Dawn.
Okay,
I'm so
okay.
glad you asked because next time we're talking about calling bullshit
Bullshit.
on the public's total lack of manners and etiquette.
Oh man, there's
Speaking of
lots of
farting.
that.